Hello, welcome to my breakdown / review of Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 5, Spoils of War. And before we get into spoilers, I'm going to do a quick non-spoiler review. This episode is a lot more fast-paced and a lot more action than a lot of previous episodes. It still has the same kind of pacing, conversation, setup, battle at the end. And so don't expect anything completely different, but the action is much more significant and badass. Something we've been waiting for a long time. So there's, I guess you could say, a lot more to be excited about in this episode. And I didn't find any problems with it aside for a couple nitpicks, but I think everyone's going to like this episode a lot more than maybe the last two, because it has more payoff and things we were looking forward to. But yeah, and that's my non-spoiler review. So from now on, there's going to be spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, stop here, go watch the episode and come back, or you probably won't come back. But so this episode, I believe we start out with Jaime and Bran on their way back to King's Landing with all the loot from the Reach, from Highgarden, which is why this episode is called Spoils of War, obviously. So we basically are getting, this explanation of what they're doing, and then we're cutting to Cersei, and she's saying, we're going to pay you with this, and the Iron Bank guy saying, yeah, we're happy with that. We'll support all your future ventures from here on out if we get this money. And he's pretty happy with it, because I bet a lot of people at the Iron Bank never thought they were going to get that money, to be perfectly honest. Which, damn, the Tyrells were rich. But we get, right after that, we get some stuff in Winterfell, I think it was. I think we went to Winterfell after that. I'm just going to stop going in order. I'm just going to talk about things how I want to talk about them. But we have Bran and Littlefinger having this weird, awkward conversation. Like, Littlefinger thinks he can come in and talk to him and manipulate him. He's giving him the dagger and telling him what happened with it. And Bran just kind of like doesn't care at all. He's just like, he's looking at Littlefinger. He's kind of like, I feel like his regard for him was like, yeah, you're kind of just a little bug. Like, you are insignificant, and I know everything you've done. He kind of gives him a hint when I forget what Littlefinger said, but Bran's response was, chaos is a ladder, which is something Littlefinger said like in season 1 or 2. I forget which one. So I think that kind of put Littlefinger on edge, and then we have Meera coming in and basically just showing us that Bran's detached from reality, and he's kind of being a dick to where he's, doesn't care that she's leaving. He just says, thank you. And that's all. But, I don't know. They're doing something different with the character. We're going to need more time with him. We're only getting like 1 to 2 minute scenes here and there, and I feel like, well, he used to get his own plot line, so we need a little bit more time with Bran. And then we have stuff going on at Dragonstone where Daenerys and Jon are checking out the Dragonglass cave, and there's all the cave paintings showing how the children of the forest and First Men cooperated to defeat the White Walkers. There's even some very cool White Walker drawings in there. I was kind of like, I was wondering if they were going to show White Walkers. I'm like, they don't look like stick figures, but they, those were good illustrations of White Walkers. They really stepped it up compared to their humans. I mean, the other drawings in the cave were pretty primitive, but then these White Walker ones were very detailed. But and we see a little, Jon leading Dany by the arm a little bit, so there might be something happening there. And when they come out, they find out what's happened in the Reach. And Dany is pissed Tyrion. She wants to just go destroy shit. And everyone's just like, we don't want to. And she asks Jon his opinion. If you burn castles and towns, you're not any different. You're the same as Tywin Lannister, who was just decimated the Riverlands during the last war. You're not any different if you go and put all the damage on the small folk. And I guess I don't like the much they take her character like that, just all mad and unreasonable, but they want us to think that there's the possibility of the Mad Queen. And then we go from there. I think we go back to Winterfell with Arya arriving. And it's this very reminiscent scene of season 1 where the guards wouldn't let Arya back into the Red Keep because she was, all dirty and, whatever from being in the dungeons. And we then get a reunion with Sansa and her. And it's kind of like you wanted the tension to just melt away that they used to have. But like after seconds you see it reemerge. And Sansa doesn't take her list thing seriously until Bran says something. And then later on we see Arya fighting with Brienne. And she's going toe to toe, just doing her fast stuff, and at some points gets the upper hand on Brienne. And Sansa's up there watching. She's like, shoot, she wasn't joking about this. She's a killer. Which I don't know why it's bothering Sansa, because she fed Ramsay to dogs. Like, that's pretty ruthless. Your sister poisons and stabs people. You don't have a place to judge, although, I mean, she did just mass murder a bunch of Freys, but do Freys even count as people? No. But then from there, we go to Theon arriving back at Dragonstone. We get the confrontation between him and Jon, and then we go right to the battle with Jaime and the Dothraki and Dany, and it's pretty tense, and it becomes pretty clear that they're going to get destroyed. It doesn't look like the full Lannister force is there. And I think they said something about them being already in King's Landing, which means Cersei already has that gold. But this battle is intense, and you just see people getting burnt alive and turned to ash by the dragon. And it's pretty brutal, and you can kind of see that Jaime and Bronn are not into what's happening from the other side. Like, it's messed up to fight a war this way. And we get Bronn taking, not killing, but taking down Drogon with one of the scorpions, which it's supposed to pierce her skull. If it just lodges on the shoulder, that's not nearly as effective as we were led to believe it was. And then we get Jaime charging at Daenerys, just trying to kill Daenerys, an unarmed person, off her dragon, which is stupid because Drogon just turns and is about to light him up, and Bronn just goes in, saves him into the water, which has somehow got like a drop off of 20 feet because we see Jaime just sinking down where that water clearly wasn't. Like, he only gets knocked like 5 feet off his horse. He was already running on the edge of the water, and that wasn't a large body of water. I would say it was like 20 feet wide maybe from what I saw, but he's sinking down that far. That has to just be a giant hole and very sharp drop off. I don't know, I don't see many ponds like that, or it doesn't look like a river, but in a slow river like that probably wouldn't have that big of a drop off. I had just a slight problem with that part. We don't know if Jaime's dead or not. I don't know, that it just seems silly that it seems like false tension. I think someone's gonna pull him up. You can swim with armor on. There's no reason why you wouldn't be able to, unless you don't already know how to swim. You kick and you do the normal things for swimming. It's just a little bit harder, especially with armor, because it's dispersed evenly. You can still swim. And he doesn't have heavy armor. He doesn't seem to have chainmail on, so his armor is probably pretty light. Like I was saying, when lots of lifeguards, you have to be able to go down, grab like a 5 or 10 pound brick from the bottom of like I think the pool I always had to do it with was 20 feet deep. And you had to swim back up to the surface with it. Now, without your hands, that's harder than swimming up with your hands with armor. And it's not dispersed, it's all in one spot. So it's concentrated, it pulls you down more. There's the whole sinking because you have armor on is a myth. I hope he just starts swimming in the beginning of the next episode. That'd be funny, like, ha, you thought that armor made you sink automatically. No, it doesn't. The danger is if you're out on the ocean and you fall in with armor on, you're not going to be able to swim long enough. Not that you can't swim at all. It's going to be harder, and it's going to wear you down faster, and you're just not going to be able to do it anymore. You'll be exhausted sooner. It doesn't mean that you can't jump into a 10-foot or a 20-foot deep pool, go to the bottom, and swim back up. You should be able to do that easily. It won't be as easy, but you can do it. You can swim a lap in armor if you really wanted to. You'd be dead exhausted, but you can do it. You can keep afloat. So that's my one nitpick. Otherwise, this episode was awesome. It was just cool. So yeah, like and subscribe if you like my review / breakdown, and my other videos. I do all kinds of other stuff like trailer reactions and reviews of other shows. This is the only one I'm doing right now because nothing's out. I think I'm going to do Star Trek Discovery and Defenders. Those are something on my list, but we'll see when they come out, see if anything else comes out that I want to do. And that'll be all today.